Why don't you pop us with a couple of Broncos questions?
What Bronco needs to redeem himself after a disappointing 2014 season?
Well, this is going way off the grid because he's not going to make the team, but Isaiah Burst. I mean, Isaiah Burst came in here and was a kind of burst on the scene and was going to be, and he had a couple of good runs. Didn't
dropped
he?
A kick today,
but then
dropped a punt today.
So
like,
there was a guy that needed
don't do that.
I mean, they brought him back, said, we're going to give you another chance, kid. You showed us some signs last year in another regime. He had to start over again, but that pops out at me that he had his chance last year to be Trenton Holiday, and he turned out to be Holiday in Express.
I'm going to go at the other end of the spectrum. I want to go all the way to the top, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go.
I'm surprised.
I'm going to go DeMarcus Ware though. He had a great first half and disappeared in the second half.
2 sacks in his last 8 games.
And in the first half, it looked like a great acquisition. In the second half of the season, he looked old. And I know they have Shane Ray. They have somebody to rotate in with them. Their pass rush will be fine, whether DeMarcus is great, mediocre, or below average. But I want to see if he still has all-pro capabilities inside of him.
He was one of the guys on my list. I'm going to go Monte Ball, who had a pretty good rookie season, averaged like 4.7 yards a carry, ran for over 700 yards. Last year, couldn't stay healthy. When he was healthy, didn't make an impact. He's a high draft pick, second-round draft pick, and lost his starting job. This year, he's got to redeem himself. He's got to show that he was worthy of the pick.
Okay, and I went, woo, because I'm really conflicted there. How good a chance do you think he has of redeeming himself?
Well, if he doesn't see the ball a lot, he won't have much of a chance.
Right. Yeah. And so and do you think that he's in, how much do you really think he's in the coaching staff's plans right now? I mean, everybody supposedly has a shot in the preseason. Every job is open.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. I'm a little afraid for Monty that this coaching staff might have already moved on from him. And I'm like, well.
Yeah, but the guy who picked him is still upstairs.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's why I go, ooh. I mean, what's really going on there, and how much of a shot does he really have?
I said to Les, they should have offered him to the Dallas Cowboys for one of their offensive linemen. And I know trades aren't made.
We've been asked for solutions today. That's an excellent solution.
You are a solutions-oriented person.
I will give you, can I spot check just to go? Sylvester Williams. We didn't really see much of him.
Yeah.
Derek Wolfe. I know he's going to be out the first 4 games.
Both on my list.
They need to redeem themselves. Ronnie Hillman, who's actually showing something, but he needs to redeem himself, I think. Chris Clark. Chris Clark disappeared off the map last year. Chris, you either redeem yourself right away.
Or get on down the road.
Yeah. So those are guys that hit me right away.
The only one I would disagree with is Sylvester Williams, because I'm not sure he ever was anything in the first place.
Redeeming?
So I don't know if he can be.
Well, if you look at him as a first-round draft pick.
Okay, I got you. Yeah.
Because we're now talking about guys in the first 3 rounds. Brock Osweiler hasn't done a thing.
Hasn't had a
Forget
chance.
about last year. And Sylvester Williams, Derek Wolfe, Monte Ball, Ronnie Hillman. We're talking about guys, even Javon and Kayvon Webster. Those are guys that were drafted high that had expectations that haven't done anything.
Well, then they all need to redeem Mr. Elway as a
Elway's doing a good job with free agents,
yes, he is.
veteran free agents, and he finds a free agent or two or they find a free agent or two every year. He's done okay with 5th-round picks and 6th-round picks, but I said to Les one day, what about those early picks? You know, everybody throws at us Von Miller. Well, hell, an 8-year-old kid could have picked Von Miller. I mean, that wasn't showing anything. And I'm not so, we had a question on our list about is Von Miller going to be Defensive Player of the Year? See, I still think, and I got so much grief from John Elway, Patrick Peterson, still a better pick at this spot. And I know I'm going to, we won't know that till their careers
They
over.
could both end up in the Hall of Fame, you know?
But Peterson's had a better career if you look at the
more consistency and certainly off the field.
Von Miller gets a lot of talk about it. Well, come on, show it. You know, do that 22 sacks or whatever it is this year.
You mentioned Chris Clark. So let's deal with the offensive line for a second. Ty Sambrailo, the rookie out of CSU, absolutely got eaten up at practice yesterday. I mean, it was somewhat embarrassing and somewhat worrisome. Gary Kubiak, after the practice, said he was disappointed. And coaches don't usually use those words to describe players. I wouldn't say he threw him under the bus, but he is showing disappointment. The coaching staff isn't raving about him, hasn't all training camp. A prominent ex-Bronco told me that his feet are not good enough. They're not quick enough, and he's worried about him. Do you still believe he'll be the opening day left tackle? And does Chris Clark make this team, even if he hasn't had a good training camp, because they need some veteran backup at left tackle?
I've never believed he's going to be the opening day left tackle, and I believe they're in serious trouble if he is. I'm cheering for Zambrello. He's he's a CSU guy. I want him to do well. I think he's a good athlete. I do think his feet is good enough. I don't think he's strong enough. I think if he needs to kick outside to block an outside rush, he's good. If you bull rush him inside, I don't think he's strong enough to stand up there. They can't start him. They can't. It's not fair to Manning. It's not fair to the offense. It's not fair to Broncos country. It's not fair to the player.
Well,
he's not ready.
What if they give him a lot of help on that side?
Well, that's what I said yesterday. The only way you could really have him is to have a tight end over there all the time to help him out.
And then that kind of limits your play call.
However, I know
but
where you're
when
going.
Brock was sacked in the first game, wasn't that on a tight end help side? I think Virgil Green was standing there.